Hello there, and welcome to another video. I'm going to be looking at today some dream symbols or dream images or sections of a dream that have been given to me over the last few nights, maybe a week, just over a week. So I've written them all down. What these were just like a symbol, but so vivid and profound and memorable that the minute I woke up, I remember that symbol or that small section of the dream, like watching a video and a very small little bit of the video footage just there, but very memorable. So I'm remembering when I wake up. So, this is what I'm going to be talking about today. And some of the dream images or dream presentations are involving characters from the novel that I am writing with your assistance and your help, alongside you writing your novels as well. So, that will be part of the responding to these analysis or aiming to analyze what these symbols mean. I've asked the nine to assist me in this. I've looked at the analysis for some of these myself. Some I really did need the nine's assistance. And the nine haven't said a great deal, just a small amount, really. And I think the reason for that is when you are being presented with images and messages, symbols in your dream, the idea is for you to work it out. And of course, you can ask your guidance system to assist you, for that is you. That is the dream aspect of you, and you work together in working this out. I do welcome emails as always. I find your emails so insightful and helpful, and often you see something that I don't, or that the nine haven't mentioned. And I will add that every symbol, every dream presentation, image, often has, or always has really, multiple meanings. Sometimes, in rare cases, there might be just one meaning for that, but usually these are convergences, especially when you're being shown a symbol. So let's go into this. So this is the last few nights, pretty much every night, and I've written this down when I've woken up. And because it's just a short symbol, so I'm thinking, well, do I make a video for like 2 minutes explaining I saw a symbol? And when it happened again and then again, I thought, right, I'll write all these down, and when I've got a few, I'll do a video. So this is my dream symbol analysis and message update. Okay, so I've asked the nine to assist me. Okay, so one, I saw two women that I recognize. So I'm asleep, I'm dreaming, and I'm seeing these images in my dream. I'm not aware I'm dreaming. So these aren't lucid dreams in the sense that I'm aware that I'm dreaming, but they're lucid in the sense that they're vivid. They have this energy about them that kind of makes my consciousness know I must remember them. So I remember them when I wake. So I was shown two women, both from stories. I was shown Tiger Lily from Peter Pan, and that's where I know Tiger Lily from, and Pocahontas from the film Pocahontas, the Disney cartoon film. I was shown these two women, Tiger Lily and Pocahontas, stood next to one another, and both of them were holding a big golden piece of crypto that looked like a Bitcoin. So Tiger Lily was holding a golden Bitcoin, and Pocahontas was holding a golden Bitcoin. And it's like they were there to show the Bitcoin to me, but they themselves represented something together. So I had an idea of what this may mean, but I did ask the nine, and the nine said, these are symbols of the indigenous peoples of America. The golden coins shall be returned to them, both in land and in digital form. So the golden coins shall be returned to them. So this is symbols of Indigenous peoples of America. So that's who Tiger Lily and Pocahontas are. They're symbols of the Indigenous people of America. The golden coins shall be returned to them. So does that mean golden coins were taken from them and are going to be returned? Does it mean money in some form was taken from them or some kind of transaction? Is that a metaphor for that? Either way, whatever that may be, should there have been actual like money or some kind of transaction involving money, that shall be returned to them. And then the nine say both in land. So the nine have said before the land will be returned to the indigenous peoples. They've said this to me several times, and they started talking about this, I think, around August time, possibly slightly before that. And they've been saying this a lot. The land will be returned, but in digital form. And of course, you've got Tiger Lily and Pocahontas holding a golden Bitcoin. So some kind of some kind of digital gift given to the indigenous peoples of America, um, because they are, if you will, owed this. It is like a transaction, it is a giving back. How that works out in digital form, I don't know. I am not particularly financially minded, and the whole digital finance and Bitcoin and crypto, it honestly, it just baffles me. So anyway, when I woke up, I thought, okay, I can understand perhaps what Tiger Lily and Pocahontas may be representing, but what is the Bitcoin? So that's what the nine said. The golden coins shall be returned to them both in land and in digital form. Any ideas? Do email me. Okay, next, and this was not on the same night. So as I said, these were pretty much every night for about the last week that I've had these images. I'm kind of expecting it now to just have this kind of image come to me every night. The last time I had dream intel coming to me every single night was when I was transcribing from the nine the book, The Infinite Helix and the Emerald Flame. And for a large section of the transmission of that book, I was dreaming every single night about the concepts that the nine were talking about. That's the only time I can remember these dreams being every single night, but they have been this week. Okay, the next one, and this is about two characters in the novel. So we've got Musky Squirrel and Stormfire Gnome, and they're literally standing next to one another, just standing next to one another, kind of looking at me, just like Tiger Lily and Pocahontas were standing there looking at me, but they were holding a Bitcoin each, a golden Bitcoin. Musky Squirrel and Stormfire just stood there next to me, both looking at me, like they're trying to tell me something. And it's vivid and memorable. So I wake up. Why did I see Musky Squirrel and Stormfire stood next to each other, looking at me, trying to tell me something, trying to let my brain come to some realization? So I asked the nine, why are they stood next to each other like this? And the nine said, we cannot say much to this due to security. For this in itself does present such security beyond the third dimensional security. The brothers in arms stay close for this. Well, that was it. That's what they said. When they said, we cannot say much to this, what I feel they then did was went into like layers of coding, layers of metaphor. The reason why they do that is when they go into layers of metaphor, it leaves the interpretation open to an extremely wide range. They do not do this to confuse me or you. They do this to lead service to self factions that may listen to these videos into that wider expansion. So they themselves are given a whole field of potentials and possibilities and are not able to zone in on what the actual meaning is. But the nine do put the actual meaning in the words. So what they're trying to do is deliver information to me and to you, and yet also veil it from those that may use this information in a less than honourable way, let's say. So I'm going to repeat this again, but I don't see how I can really analyse due to what they're saying. We cannot say much to this due to security. For this in itself does present such. I'll repeat that. For this in itself does present such. Security, beyond the third dimensional security. The brothers in arms stay close for this. And that's it. That's why they're close. That's why they're close and looking at me. There's another reason why they're close, other than the average reason that most people would think. People think, well, why is Musky Squirrel so close to Stormfire? Is Musky Squirrel infiltrating Stormfire? Is Musky Squirrel genuinely in a partnership with Stormfire? Why are they so close? Well, this is the answer. We cannot say much to this due to security, for this in itself does present such. Security beyond the third dimensional security. So that's kind of the answer. The brothers in arms stay close for this. So the other aspect of this I wanted to look at was brothers in arms. Brothers in arms. That isn't something I would say as me, as Magenta. It's not a phrase I would use. And I kind of knew what it meant, I guess, but I hadn't really kind of thought about it. So I Googled it. I'm not saying I didn't know what it meant. I just wanted a definition because to me it's kind of a bit poetic without any specific meaning. And so I Googled this, and the definition of this is men who serve together in a conflict. So this is interesting because I've received quite a lot of emails about Musky Squirrel. And some people are saying, is Musky Squirrel a good squirrel? Are his intentions good? Is he genuinely there around Stormfire to help him? Did he purchase the Black Cross that used to be a blue bird? Did he purchase the Black Cross to be helpful, or is it a trap? What's the response to this? Other people have emailed me to say, I can tell you now that I know that Musky Squirrel is a good squirrel, and Musky Squirrel is around Stormfire because he is on the team and on that side. And I've had other people write to me with the complete opposite, saying, I'm really, really concerned about Musky Squirrel. I'm doubting Musky Squirrel. I think he's going to turn. I think he's a, double agent, triple agent, or whatever, and all of this. And what I've replied actually over on my Buy Me a Coffee Dear Pixie membership as an audio post, and I've replied to some people individually by email, and I'm pretty sure I've discussed this on video at some point. Yes, the nine certainly have anyway. And so what that is you have positive polarization, which is where we are the ascending ones, the awakened ones. And then you have negative polarization, which is the service to self-structure. But you also have neutral polarization, and that's very rare. And that neutral polarization, the individuals who polarize neutral or who are on the path to polarizing neutral, this doesn't mean neutrality. You take the stance of neutrality within a service to others polarization. You can take the stance of neutrality within a service to self polarization. I'm talking about a neutral polarization. And what that is these individuals incarnate as balance keepers. They keep the balance. That's their mission. So, a service to others individual, positively polarized, their mission is ascension and raising the frequency of the planet. Service to self structure is to stand as the equal and opposite reaction for growth and learning. And within that, they move within, let's say, descension and destruction rather than ascension and creation. But the neutral individuals, neutral polarization, are balance keepers between the two. They are in a different trajectory. They are not service to others. They are not service to self, and they are so rare. They are so rare that I have only ever seen two in my life, maybe possibly a third, but when it comes to individuals in the public eye, let's say, I've only seen two, and Musky Squirrel is one of them. And probably the most well known that I can think of that's neutrally polarized. They're very rare. So they make a choice throughout their incarnation. Do I stay completely neutrally polarized? Help out the service to self here and there, help out the service to others here and there. Don't really mind, don't want anything to do with their conflict. I'm on my own space. They don't work in collectives in the same way as STO, positively polarized, and STS, service to self, negatively polarized. They work for themselves, and rarely do they connect in a group with others in the same way as the other polarizations. So usually they will sort of, lean towards STS, negative polarization, help them out. And the higher, let's call them advanced dark magicians, are fully aware of neutrally polarized souls and what they're here to do, and they don't really see them as in the novel, like a threat, let's say. So if a rabbit saw a wolf, the rabbit would see the wolf as a threat. They don't really see that neutrally polarized individuals as threats in that sense. And often they will work with them, let's say, but they never really take them on board as one of them, but neither do they see them as service to others. Within service to others, the only individuals that would be aware of neutral polarization are those who are in touch with the divinity, the higher guidance structure, and have been given or have come to the point of realization of polarization. So that's where they would know about this. And that appears to be fairly rare, in all honesty. So at planetary end times, they kind of make a choice. Where's this energy going for this particular epoch, this particular planetary phase? Where is this going? And they will often lend their energy to those that are appearing to be the underdog. So if too much service to self negative energy is pushed forward, they're balance keepers. That is their role. So they will think, no, 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 no. I'm not on your side or against you. I'm neutral, but you're pushing it. You're going too far over. So I'm moving over here. And the same the other way round. And service to others, as I've said before, rarely push beyond where they are blueprinted to be, because they work within free will boundaries, and service to selves will push the free will boundaries. So very rarely would a service to others stretch beyond where they are missioned to be, because it's an infinite structure anyway. But should that occur, should a service to others be, should the positive polarization be too overblown within a planetary system, which isn't what happened in this epoch, then it would be the same thing. The balance keepers would be, I'm going to switch over to these guys just to tone you down a bit. You have no growth and learning here because you're all positive, 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 love and light, love and light, love and light, without the grounding. So let's switch over here, pull you back. They're balance keepers. So at planetary end times, that's where they make their choice. With Musky Squirrel specifically, when people ask me, is he a good squirrel? Is he a bad squirrel? Well, he's a neutral squirrel. That means there may be negative elements and positive elements. Now, because he has clearly made his choice for planetary end times, for the end times of the village completion in the novel, Because he's made that choice, he's moved over to service to others positive polarization because the negative polarization pushed the boundaries far too far. So he moves over here. But because of that, one could say that he's working with the service to others and he's positively polarized. Therefore, he's a good squirrel. But I've always said because he's neutrally polarized, he could play both sides. He could be a double agent. He could play both sides at the same time. And he could switch. He could stay with service to others and switch. I did say when I spoke to the members of the Dear Pixie membership on Buy Me a Coffee, I did say recently that the chances of him switching now are of low probability because there is a an involvement, a network, and a mission within that. Very unlikely he would switch. But if someone says to me, could he switch? My response would be, that's of low probability, but I wouldn't rule it out. This is me as Magenta, given the information I had up to that point. But the nine have now said, brothers in arms are men who serve together in a conflict. The nine, and they have never confirmed, will Musky Squirrel switch? Is he a double agent? Is he playing both sides? As others are saying, I've had people write to me and say that they've seen other individuals in the Truthy network in the village saying that he is a double agent and he'll switch and you can't trust him and this, that, and the other. And I'm not in disagreement with them. I'm just saying it's of low probability now. But the nine, when they responded to the dream of Musky Squirrel and Stormfire stood next to each other, and they responded, brothers in arms are men who serve together in a conflict. I take that as the nine confirming that he is set now in an intricate, interwoven tapestry and has become an integral part of the service to others structure, of which Stormfire is leading as top banana in a third and somewhat fourth dimensional sense. And I'm not talking about the entire positively polarized structure throughout dimensions. I'm speaking about what's happening in the third dimension. Musky Squirrel has taken a step to their brothers in arms. So the nine have really confirmed, in my opinion, that he's not going to switch. So whilst I would have said in the past, well, yeah, maybe he would switch, it's of low probability, but he could. I think now that the nine have said this, I would say he's not going to, that he has become part of the service to others structure. That is where I would place that now. So anyone who's written in with questions, people have sent me videos of other truthy people saying different things, and I've looked at them and I've looked into this. And whilst I would always have said, up until the nine said this, maybe there is a very small probability that there could be some working with the negative structure because the nine have said brothers in arms serving together in a conflict, meaning he's gone into the service to others. He's gone into positively polarized. So I think anyone who's reading that as other than that, I understand why, because you can't really hold on to Musky Squirrel energetically and see where he is due to his neutral polarization. I would say the nine have confirmed that he is now within or working with strongly and has committed to working with the service to others positively polarized structure, meaning he is a good squirrel standing side by side with Stormfire. That is what my interpretation is, given the information that I have. And if you want to email in, please do so. Okay. So next part of the dream. So this was a dream I did have, and there was another symbol at the same time, but I've written all these down separately, so I actually can't remember which symbol came in with this dream because it was a different part of the dream, an entirely different section to the dream. So we are still recording. Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, so I was sent with 12 other light workers, all women. So there were 13 of us. All these women I knew were reincarnated from the times of Celtic magic. So we're looking at a Celtic lineage. So Scottish, Irish, and anything else that moves into Celtic lineage, seeded from the Tuatha De Danann. That is the line I'm looking at. There were 13 of us, myself and 12 other women. I asked the nine, are these aspects of me? Well, yes, but are these actual women? Yes, these are actual women who live and are incarnated and alive in the village. So they're all reincarnated from times of Celtic magic. We were all wearing long white robes. In all honesty, they weren't white; they were slightly off-white, like a natural cream muslin, but they were very close to white, all wearing long white robes and flower crowns on our head, and we were barefoot. Okay, we were sent to two different places together. The first place was Palm Beach in Florida. When we got there, we had to walk in a circle, all 13 of us walking round and round in a circle on Palm Beach in Florida, and we were chanting. I don't remember the chant, it was some kind of sacred chant that I intrinsically knew, and we were all kind of looking down. We all had these flowers in our hair, we're barefoot, and we're just walking round and round together, like we all knew what we were doing. Then we were all sent to another beach. I was told that this beach was in California. So both these beaches were in the US domain. We did the same thing there. We walked round and round and round. In the dream, I was told that we were drawing down healing and passing the healing energy through our feet into the earth. Now, when I woke up, throughout the day, I was asking the nine about this. What was happening? Because it was very profound, and I really felt as though I was there, like I knew these women, and what we were doing was so important. So I was asking the nine throughout the day. Didn't get too much at first, but this song kept coming into my head all the time. And it's that song called All I Want to Do by Sheryl Crow. You know, all I want to do is have some fun. And then she's talking about the Santa Monica Boulevard, which I'm sure is, I don't know if that's a beach or not, but I kept hearing the word Santa Monica Boulevard. So I do wonder if this place in California was connected to that. Was it the Santa Monica beaches? I mean, not being American, I'm not absolutely sure where all these places are, but that song was in my head. And then finally, I did ask the nine and get some information forward. So this is what they said. Indeed, it is as presented, healing through that which you know as dream body or astral body within sacred circle as the 13. One could refer to this as a form of dream healing or dream grid work. This has taken place amongst many incarnated female, awake and aware lightworker star-seeded souls who hold the frequency of the true high priestess. Both places upon your planet needed and called for the healing. The song you mentioned presents one place where the healing grid work is given from the connected collective. So was I at the Santa Monica beach? I'm not sure, but that's one of the places that called for healing in California. And then there was Palm Beach in Florida. And what they're saying here is this has taken place amongst many incarnated female awake and aware lightworker star-seeded souls who hold the frequency of the true high priestess. So I was with one group of 13, one of 13. What the nine are saying is that there were many groups of 13 of females, healers, female incarnated healers walking together in a circle chanting like I was. We were just one of many. So if you have memories of this, or perhaps your dream might show you that you were doing grid work or healing in a different way, I'd love to hear from you. That would be great. But that's what I'm being told, that there's healing. Why the US domain, specifically Florida, Palm Beach, California, Santa Monica, I'm not sure, other than this part of the land, the consciousness called for the healing. So that was an interesting one and a lovely one and very vivid, very memorable. And I just felt like I knew these women and that I had done this before. So we all knew what we were doing. So that's another aspect of the dream. Okay, how many more have I got here? One, two. I can't use my mouse properly with this glove on. And it's so cold in the UK right now. One, two, three, three, three more symbols from dreams. So really rare that I would get these small symbols night after night, every single night. It's really quite profound. What was it about the last week of November that I would have these recurring symbols that I needed to remember? Okay, this is a very funny one. I was just shown an image of the actor Sylvester Stallone. So if you don't know who that is, he was in Rocky and he was in Rambo and he's really famous. Stood on the top of a double-decker bus. That was it. I'm just looking up and he's just looking down at me. Sylvester Stallone. And the energy I got from him was really nice energy and like taking his place, wanting to help, like he knew something was going on and that he was being called to help. I got that feeling from him. Okay, so I asked the nine, why am I seeing Sylvester Stallone on a double-decker bus? And this is what they said. The one you speak of shall take a prominent place. The form of transport signifies exactly this, with the double decker showing the spiritual levels from which this soul shall operate. So Sylvester Stallone is going to take a prominent place. Well, what does that mean? A prominent place where? I have a feeling something to do with the whole Stormfire team in some way. That isn't what was confirmed from the nine, but that was my feeling, that he's going to be prominent in some form. The form of transport signifies exactly this. So the form of transport, the bus, is he literally connected to a bus? Or is he connected to transport or transportation? The road system. I mean, that could be metaphor. I'm not sure, but the double decker showing the spiritual levels. Now, the double decker, I will add, is a London double decker with an open top, which you don't see that often. So it was a red bus. I know that there are other double decker buses with, in the US domain, you have them with open tops as well. This was a red London bus, but it had an open top. So it was kind of like a cross between a London bus and a US bus, I guess. I'm not sure which domain he was in the dream either. The form of transport signifies exactly this, with the double decker showing the spiritual levels from which this soul shall operate. So we've got two layers, meaning this individual, Sylvester Stallone, isn't just operating from the physical, he's operating from the spiritual as well. So whether that is something that is known about him, whether that's something hidden about him, I don't feel that I'm overstepping any permissions and etiquettes to present this. We all have spiritual aspects to ourselves. This has come in from the nine, so it is something that is not. It's not against boundaries to say that he operates from the spiritual and the physical, as so many people do. So that was that. But if I've had these dreams, symbol after symbol after symbol, they must be important, especially as I remembered them so much when I woke up. So rather than a long, epic dream, like a film playing out, which I've often had, They're just little bits of video footage, little stills with people looking at me like they're trying to tell me something. Okay, so that's that one. Next one. So this is another symbol here. I was being shown a golden carrot. Yes, an actual carrot, a vegetable, an orange carrot, but shining, golden, just there. I'm just looking, and I remember looking at it for ages, fascinated. Look at this golden carrot just glimmering. And because it was there for so long and it was so prominent, even though other dream things were going on and my thoughts are playing out in the dream, the carrot was there. So when I wake up, what do I see? A carrot, and I remember it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, another symbol. Wrote it down. Okay. So I was being shown a golden carrot shining, surrounded by golden light. Now, in the dream, while I was looking at this carrot, I did actually say, should this not be a golden banana rather than a carrot? And I was told in the dream, yes, but it's also a golden carrot. So this golden carrot is somehow connected to the golden banana, the top banana. And I'm kind of feeling that everything in this series of symbols is kind of connected to everything that's going on in the third dimensional reality in the village. It's all about the novel. These are all fictional symbols assisting me to write the novel. And the predominant storyline here is Stormfire and what he's doing, and not just him individually, but the entire service to others positively polarized team behind that structure, or rather than not saying behind, within that structure together, which is as I've said before, the cleaning of the streets in the village and the turning of this quagmire from dark, muddy water with these sludgy sort of mud living creatures living in the quagmire into clear, fresh waters with rainbow coloured fish and mermaids, beautiful, beautiful mermaids. So this is what this is about. The cleanup situation in the village, the cleanup, the removal of sludge and the drawing down of light, basically, throughout the village. That's what all this is about. So this golden carrot is connected somehow to the golden banana. Now, the golden banana is a symbol of being inside the White Castle. So, as in Stormfire has won the banana competition, he is now the top banana, but he hasn't got the golden banana until he's given the keys to the castle, and then he becomes the top banana and holds the golden banana. So, this golden banana is also a golden carrot. What on earth does that mean? So, my analysis here, and I asked the nine if I was correct in this analysis. My analysis is that the service to self negatively polarized factions, the overlords in the village, their next step, now that they've lost the banana competition, is to try to use Stormfire's win to their advantage and use it as the carrot, as because when you use the carrot in a as a phrase, there's a phrase, dangling the carrot, as in I'm going to dangle the carrot, but you're not going to have it. Are they somehow dangling a carrot by using Stormfire's win? They couldn't win themselves, so are they going to, if you will, capitalize on his win, which is the next best option? Am I correct in this? This is what I asked the nine. And they said, yes, this is a correct analysis. Yet we would also add that the carrot, and they spelt it C-A-R-A-T, so carrot as in a carat of gold, or a carat of diamonds as in precious things rather than a vegetable. Yet we would also add that the carrot is that of gold, so a carat of gold. And looking at all these symbols over the series of the week, we had a golden carrot, we had a golden Bitcoin. There's lots of gold, well, lots of gold and silver actually, in many, many of the images and the symbols that I receive and have received for a long time. So this is very much a series over the week of a lot of golden energy. We would also add that the carat, spelt C-A-R-A-T, is that of gold, which shall be most significant. So gold is going to be significant. So too is the carrot, spelt C-A-R-R-O-T, the carrot, the root vegetable presenting and symbolizing land, agriculture, and farming. For the battle in the fictional novel, the fictional fairy battle, moves in this direction also. So there's a lot of intertwining of gold, finance, money, Bitcoin, returning the land to the original guardians, giving some kind of digital gift to the original guardians, the indigenous peoples through Pocahontas and Tiger Lily. So we've got here dangling the carrot and utilizing Stormfire and the team in the best way that they can, capitalizing on that because they didn't get the win themselves, but also gold, actual gold, but also land, agriculture, and farming. There's so much about land. And as I said, I'm not particularly well researched in finance and money and how land and money is linked together or how that could be linked to a Bitcoin or anything digital. It all baffles me, but this is what is coming through. As I said, I gratefully receive emails, but there's a big, big thing about gold and land, agriculture, farming, so much. I know there's a farming thing going on right now in the UK domain, so I'm aware of that. But this dream was kind of signifying a global movement, really. It was a village-wide symbol. Okay, so the final part of the final aspect, symbol, was not anything I was looking at. It was words I was being told. So I've had this before, where I'll meet a dream character and they just say something to me. I remember meeting this really powerful looking dream character, looked like a monk. He looked like a shaman, and he just pointed at me and said Tuesday. And I had no idea what that meant. And then for the last maybe 6, 7 years, I've had remember the 5th of November going on and on in my head every year. When I put the 5th of November and Tuesday together, the actual final realization, and this came from people on my group who was saying 5th of November and Tuesday was the banana competition. So I get these words, and it takes a long time, sometimes 5 years, to know what it means. So this is all eyes on, and they're talking about a domain. It's not the US domain this time in this particular statement. It's the domain Iraniano. Okay. All eyes on the Iraniano domain. So you would take the first 4 letters here. This is what I was being told, very loud, very clear. All eyes on the Iraniano domain. I have no idea what this means. I assume perhaps it's to do with the fairy battle, but I did ask the nine, and they said, we cannot comment on this aspect of your dream time at this point, except to add to your image by showing you the game you know as battleships that you did play as a child. This is where the fairy battle moves to the water. Okay, so I did play battleships as a child, it's true. I played that game. I had a friend who absolutely was obsessed with it, and a boy, typically. And I think I was about the only girl who was happy to play battleships with him. So I did used to play battleships and I used to love it. So we've got here the fairy battle moving into the direction of land, agriculture, and farming. We have Musky Squirrel and Stormfire Gnome as brothers in arms. And we now have the game battleships being given by the Nine as a side-by-side image to the clairaudient phrase, all eyes on the Iranarian, goodness, all eyes on the Iranano domain, all eyes on the Iranano domain. So alongside that, I'm being shown Battleships, the game I played as a child. And this is where the battle moves to the water. So we've got land, we've got water. And then the Nine went on to say all elements are utilized: earth, air, fire, water, and the fifth element of ether, which I knew because the Nine told me this right back in 2020, when they showed me like an archery board, and they showed that the battleground, if you will, within the fairy battleground within the novel was not just the one aspect of Kukiruru and then obviously the Juicy Juicy. It was a wider play out, and that was the first I kind of opened my eyes to seeing that the Kukiruru and the Juicy Juicy were just tiny parts of the overall attempted village. And the word they used was overtake. The overtake. The attempted village overtake. And again, they always said with the emphasis on attempted. So what you're witnessing, what we are living, is an attempt. It's not the actual, it's an attempt. Just like in the last update about the novel, I was talking about the simulation rather than the actual. When it comes to Geddon with the long arms, it wasn't the real Geddon with the long arms, it was the simulation. And this is the same thing. It's not the real, it's the attempt. They've taken this agenda, and all they can get is the second best option, the sort of the dregs of the agenda. It's like, well, we can't have that. We're gonna have to take this. All right, we can't have that. We'll have to do with this. We can't have this one. Okay, let's take that. They're not being given the first option, and that's because when it comes to balance keeping, they have pushed beyond the boundaries of where the free will, or rather the limits are for how far apolarization can go within a polarity dimensional structure. There are rules to this, and I'm talking about galactic, cosmic, spiritual rules. You can't go so far without the equal balance. For this is polarity, and it must be matched as the polarity raises. But right at the very end, planetary end times, you get the opportunity to, I guess, present your conclusion. Like, like in a court scenario, you go through the entire court and you present all the evidence, which is your incarnations year after year. Right at the very end, the solicitor or lawyer or barrister or whoever it is stands up to present their final conclusion. That's where we are. That's planetary end times, planetary completion. We're at the conclusion. And that's another thing I wanted to mention. There's a lot of people talking about this being, the end. We're at the end of the game. We're in the final stages. So when you look at the overall journey of the village, as in Earth, throughout this epoch, oh yeah, we are right at the end. But we've been right at the end since 2012. That's what the 2012 energy is. This little bit when the Mayan calendar long count ends before the new epoch counting system starts. We've been in planetary end time since 2012. So yeah, we've been right at the end when you look at it in a large scale. My goodness me, we're right at the end. But that doesn't mean we're right at the very end of the novel, when the novel talks about the village cleanup and the switching of the quagmire into a beautiful, clear river. Okay, we're not at the end of that. We're only kind of just, I wouldn't say we're just starting that because that's been going on for a bit, but we've got a long way to go yet. in the linear experience that we move through. And remember, when I had the dream about Stormfire and I was watching on the screen, stood next to him, the results coming in for the banana competition, and I felt like, he was winning, and he did win in the dream. This higher dimensional being that was kind of like a cross between a medical individual and a scientist type, but spiritual as well. When he said to me, the most important thing is to get Stormfire into the castle, we can't begin to do this village cleanup and change the quagmire to a river, to a clear river, until we have the keys to the castle, until Stormfire's in the castle. And then he said, and that is where the work really begins. So from that phase, we're at the beginning. So look at the large picture. Yeah, we are right at the absolute end, but zoom in on, the next sort of few years. We are at the beginning of the next phase. It's a good phase. It's an exciting phase because we're going to see things all the time. And we're going to see Team Light have wins. Things have switched. Things have switched. And the balance is there now. And this image of Musky Squirrel in that particular system has been a huge, huge assistance. So basically, Musky Squirrel, who is a balance keeper, has not completed, has lived his mission by doing what he has done. He's supposed to have done this. So, yeah, these are the dream images that I have received over the last week and a half. I don't actually know how many days, but it's been every single night. There may even be some that I've forgotten about, but these are the ones I wrote down that were so memorable and important. And so I wanted to share them all with another village update. So thank you so much for listening. Please, by all means, email in. If you go to my website, magentapixie.com, you will see where you can find me on social media, and you will see the email address you can email me on, and anything to do with this video, anything that you would like to add, anything you'd like to share, please do so. And please let me know if you give permission for me to perhaps share what you're saying in your email, which might be insight, sharing, your own dream, your analysis. Everything will be anonymous, no names will be shared, but some people don't like their information shared, even if it's anonymous. They wish to just connect with me privately. So please do say, I'm connecting with you privately. I'm sharing between you and me. I don't want you to discuss this. But if you say happy to share, yes, keep my name anonymous, but happy to share, by all means, let me know, and I can do a follow-up to this. Okay, thank you so much. Lots of love. Bye.